When you're learning French and you reach the point where you feel you can read and write much better than you can speak or understand spoken French, you often feel the need to push yourself beyond your comfort zone and try out an immersion experience. You're planning a trip to the sunny south of France and you want to speak French as much as possible. But who will you find to speak French to for extended periods of time? You can certainly expose yourself to the language as much as possible by taking tours in French, speaking to servers in restaurants and receptionists, but I have another option for you. We can plan a rough schedule, all the while knowing that you have the option to change it at any time. Meeting beforehand on Skype will give me the opportunity to assess your current level in French. Though you should have at least a lower intermediate level in French before embarking on such an adventure, you should know that even if you feel that you can write French but you can't speak it, that's okay. That's why I'm here, and I'll help you. If you choose to do a half day of immersion, that's 2 hours either before or after lunch. We will either stay in or remain close to Béziers. I'm not a tour guide, I'm a French teacher. However, I do know the best places to visit around here and I would love to show them to you. When you choose to spend time in French immersion with me, you really get to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. You'll fall in love with the Languedoc region, and you'll practice your spoken French at the same time. So what's there to do around here? Did you know that the engineer Paul Riquet, responsible for the construction of the Canal du Midi, was from right here in Béziers? We can stroll along the canal speaking French to each other the whole time. No trip to Béziers would be complete without a visit to the Saint-Nazaire Cathedral. We'll walk through the Centre Historique, through narrow medieval streets, to reach the highest point in the city. Don't worry, it's not a strenuous walk at all. There's a magnificent lookout point of the countryside, and on a clear day you can even see the snow-capped Pyrenees and Spain. If you're up for it, we can climb the 160 steps to reach the top of the bell tower. It's totally worth the effort, even for me, and I'm so afraid of heights. Every Friday morning, and until about 1 o'clock, there's a farmer's market that takes place in Béziers. It's an excellent opportunity to see all the fruits and vegetables that are in season and to taste local specialties. Experience the South like a local. We're fortunate here in Béziers to have one of the nicest public gardens I've seen in this part of France. It's a nice place to picnic or just take a stroll. We could go and do shopping for a French-style picnic at Les Halles before heading over there. Les Halles is an indoor covered market that's open every morning of the week except Mondays. If we were to go around noon, we could purchase meat or fish from the different vendors, and then it's fun to go to La Gargote des Halles to have them cook it for us. They only charge about €3 to prepare it, and you can order a side of something to go along with it. This is a very local thing to do, and it's something that many visitors miss out on. Just a short drive of about 20 minutes from Béziers will bring us to the charming small town of Pézenas. Though you'd love the narrow streets, the shops, and the hôtel particulier any day of the week, Saturday is the best time to visit because there's a large market in the morning. Pézenas is surrounded by vineyards. We can choose one, and I'm sure we'll have lots to talk about between wine tastings and a visit of the cave. All of the places I've just mentioned are either in or very close to Béziers. Now I'm going to tell you about some of your full-day options. At this point, it might be a good time to get out your pen and paper and start taking some notes. If you're a wine enthusiast, you're sure to appreciate the world-renowned Faugères and Chinian appellations. It only takes about half an hour to get there from Béziers. We could make a day of it, perhaps after having visited Pézenas in the morning. The Saint-Chinian market takes place on Sundays, and it's one of the very best in the region. Roquebrun is a large village perched on the edge of the river Orbe. During warm months, you can bring a picnic and swim in the river, and some of the very best wines in the Languedoc are from here. A 40-minute drive will be perfect for a quiet and focused conversation in French. Many say that no visit to the Languedoc is complete without a trip to Carcassonne. If you visit during tourist season, we'd better wait until the evening to go there. Off-season, we can make a day of discovering this medieval city and walking along the ramparts before having a bite to eat. Have you ever heard of cassoulet? This is definitely the place to try it. Do you like seafood as much as I do? Well, maybe not, but even if you don't, you'll love the beautiful Mediterranean coast near Sète. It's a fairly well-accepted fact that the best oysters in France come from Bouzigues. If oysters are your thing, there's nothing nicer than enjoying them right where they're raised with a nice glass of Picpoul de Pinet, which is a local white wine. You can also enjoy oysters from Bouzigues and a glass of Picpoul de Pinet in Sète, a city known as the Venice of the Languedoc. It's a port and a seaside resort on the Mediterranean with its own very strong cultural identity, traditions, cuisine, and dialect. Now, Marseillan is only about 20 minutes down the road in the direction of Béziers, and this little harbor town is full of cozy and very typically French seafood restaurants. Something very interesting to do in Marseillan is to take a guided tour en français of Noyer-Prat, which is a premium vermouth that is only produced right there in Marseillan. Arles is about an hour and a half drive from Béziers. Again, the car is a wonderfully quiet place to have conversations in French. Arles is situated very close to where the Languedoc ends and Provence begins. In Arles, we can visit the Roman arena, and if you're a fan of Van Gogh, you'll really appreciate seeing for yourself what inspired him to paint so many of his masterpieces during his time spent here. Do you recognize his painting, Bedroom in Arles? If we decide to stop in Saintes-Maries-de-la-Mer, which is only about 30 minutes south of Arles, you'll truly feel as if you've stepped into another exotic and exciting culture. This coastal city in the Camargue is an important pilgrimage point for the Gitans. Notre-Dame-de-la-Mer is the church around which this city was built, and it houses the holy relics of Saint Sarah, who is patron saint of the Gypsies. This place doesn't have the same feel as the medieval villages you'll find everywhere else in the Languedoc region. While traveling through this area, we'll certainly see black Camargue bulls and white Camargue horses. Depending on the season, we may even have a chance to see wild flamingos. Nîmes is about a half-hour's drive north of Arles. This city is often referred to as the French Rome because of its numerous Roman ruins. In fact, Nîmes has more intact and wonderfully preserved Roman ruins than any other place in the former Roman Empire. You'll love the big city feel after having visited smaller towns and villages. And you know those jeans you've got on? They're made of denim, right? The fabric de Nîmes. This is where denim fabric was created. Le Pont du Gard is only about a 20-minute drive from Nîmes, and it's so worth taking the time to do it. This breathtaking Roman aqueduct is over 2,000 years old. There's a museum we can visit, and it's totally fine to bring a picnic and stay for a swim if it's hot outside. An hour and a half drive from Béziers in the opposite direction will bring us very close to the Spanish border. That's right, Spain is just that close, but we'll still be in France. Collioure is an absolute must if you have a few days in the Languedoc and you're willing to take a little drive. This little town on the coast has inspired many painters, and for just cause. The rugged coast provides breathtaking views, while the clear waters and beaches have an intoxicating allure. You may not be able to resist taking a dip, and that's fine by me. Remember, this is your immersion experience, and we'll do whatever you want. We'll certainly want to have lunch here. Maybe we'll settle in a little tapas bar in a back alley far from the tourists where we can continue our French conversation in peace and sunshine. One more thing. Do you like anchovies? If you think maybe you don't, just like I used to think I didn't, you haven't yet tasted the fresh ones fished right here in Collioure. They're to die for. Being so close to the Spanish border, we can also have a little sangria in the sun. So much better than Saint-Tropez. Guilhem-le-Désert is considered to be one of the most beautiful villages in all of France, and you'll see why. As we approach the village, we'll pass by Le Pont du Diable. This ancient bridge breaches a river that flows within the gorge. You'll want to take a picture or two, and once again, you may want to take a little swim in the crisp waters that flow beneath the bridge. If you come during the summer months, we certainly won't be all alone, so we'll want to make it there fairly early in the morning. Once we're in the village, you'll really enjoy exploring the many boutiques that line the narrow cobblestone roads. As you explore the village, you'll see imprints of scallop shells practically everywhere. In French, these are called des coquilles Saint-Jacques. So why are they called that? Because these were the shells that were put into place to guide pilgrims along the Chemin de Saint-Jacques de Compostelle. Saint-Guilhem-le-Désert is right on that path. If you're the adventurous kind and you'd like to try out hiking in the area, we can do that. There are several paths to take right outside of the village and at all levels of difficulty. Montpellier is the capital of the Languedoc region and only a 45-minute drive from Béziers. You're going to love the chic Mediterranean style of Montpellier. Do you want to do some shopping? You'll find everything you want in this university town. We can also visit the Musée Fabre. You may be surprised at the vast collection to be discovered. So what can we talk about in a museum? Well, it's so much fun to look at the paintings and talk about what you see. We don't even have to talk about the paintings as art. We can just talk about what we see and imagine what in the world is going on in that scene. The true to daily life Flemish paintings can really lead to some interesting conversations. I offer immersion experiences personalized just for you. You won't be a part of a class full of other people like you who may struggle with spoken French. On the contrary, you and I will spend time together one-on-one or in a group of up to 4 people if you're not traveling alone. We'll get to know each other just like old friends. We'll explore this lovely city and region just like you would with a travel buddy. And just as you would shoot the breeze with your friend in English, we'll do the same in French. You won't feel rushed and intimidated to form perfect sentences in French. If you don't understand something I say, I'll slow down, I'll repeat myself, and I'll explain what I mean to say in a way that makes sense to you. The goal of an immersion experience in France is to communicate effectively in French. At the end of our time together, you'll certainly feel exhausted after having spoken only in French all day, but you'll also feel a sense of accomplishment as you break through the barrier of what you've learned on your own or in classic grammar lessons and bring this language you love to life. So I will see you very soon in the south of France.